Hey everyone, settle in, get comfortable, maybe switch on that white noise machine. Because tonight we're traveling back to a city frozen in time. A city where walls whispered secrets in Latin, where people bustled through markets, utterly unaware that the sky was about to fall. Tonight we're walking the streets of Pompeii, not during the eruption but before it, before the ash rained down, before statues melted under volcanic fire. Because while the destruction is fascinating, the life they lived before it ended is somehow even more compelling. So close your eyes if you'd like. Take a breath. Congratulations. You've just woken up in the year 79 CE morning in Pompeii. The first thing that hits you isn't the sight, it's the smell. Pompeii is alive with scents. Salty sea breeze from the Bay of Naples, hot olive oil drifting from bread ovens, mingling with less pleasant aromas like fish sauce, garum fermenting in clay jars, and the occasional whiff of the public latrines. You're in a modest domus, a middle-class Roman home, waking on a low wooden bed with a thin mattress stuffed with wool and feathers. There's no alarm clock. Instead, the day begins with the distant clatter of wagon wheels over stone streets and the chorus of roosters crowing. You rub your eyes, and you're looking at painted walls, vivid frescoes of gods and myths, because even middle-class homes like to show off a little luxury. Your wardrobe? A simple tunic, linen if you're lucky, wool if you're practical, undergarments optional and highly debated among historians. It's summer, so the air already feels heavy, though Vesuvius looms in the distance, looking as serene as a sleeping cat. Spoiler, that cat's about to wake up. Breakfast and the street scene. Breakfast is a modest affair. Romans called it ientaculum. You might chew on stale bread dipped in wine, a handful of olives or a smear of soft cheese. Coffee doesn't exist yet. Neither does orange juice. So you gulp a bit of watered-down wine and step outside into a city humming with life. The streets of Pompeii are crowded, noisy, and vibrant. Paved in massive basalt stones, deeply grooved from the constant passing of chariots and carts. Shops are open. Bakers selling fresh loaves stamped with the mark of their masters. Vendors hawk garum, that salty fish sauce Romans poured on everything. You sidestep a man painting political slogans on a wall. Candidates for local office compete for your vote with lines like, "Vote for Gaius." He's honest, though honest is probably relative. Laughter rings from the baths. A procession of priests in white togas passes by, swinging incense. A slave boy hurries past carrying baskets of fruit for his wealthy mistress. And everywhere, murals. Painted on walls, showing everything from heroic myths to scenes of surprisingly explicit adult content. Pompeians were not shy people. The baths and daily life by mid-morning, it's hot. Time for the public baths. The baths in Pompeii are not just for cleaning. They're for gossip, politics, business deals, and discreet flirtation. You strip off your tunic in the apoditerium, the changing room, and slip into the tepidarium, a warm room where steam clings to your skin. Then it's on to the caldarium, so hot you'd swear you're being slow-cooked. Men slap oil on themselves and scrape it off with bronze strigils, removing sweat and grime. Women have their own side of the baths, though the rules are sometimes flexible depending on the day and the magistrate in charge. Once clean, and by clean, we mean slightly less sticky, you throw your clothes back on and step into the sunlight, feeling momentarily refreshed. Lunch, work, and the afternoon. Midday, it's time for prandium, a light meal. Maybe bread with figs, salted fish, or leftovers from the night before. If you're wealthy, you might nibble stuffed dormice or oysters. If not, Well, it's beans and barley, again. Then it's back to work. Merchants return to their shops. Artisans pound bronze or hammer marble. Wealthy patrons retire to shaded porticos to supervise their business affairs, or to nap. If you're a slave, the day is endless, scrubbing floors, hauling amphorae of wine, running errands for masters who barely remember your name. Meanwhile, the streets pulse with rumors. People speak of small tremors felt in recent days, dust drifting down from Vesuvius, but no one truly worries. The mountain has been quiet for centuries. Dinner and entertainment. As the sun sets, Pompeii changes mood. The Romans' main meal, cena, begins in the early evening. Rich citizens recline on couches around low tables, feasting on multiple courses, spiced meats, roasted birds, honeyed desserts, and endless jugs of wine. For the poor, it's simpler fare, perhaps porridge, lentils, or a crust of bread with olive oil. Once dinner ends, there's entertainment. Music, poets reciting verses, dancers moving to flutes and castanets, or a trip to the amphitheater where gladiators clash under torchlight, the crowd roaring with savage delight. Nightfall and unseen warnings. Night deepens. Lamps flicker in doorways. You might stroll through quiet streets, past fountains murmuring into marble basins. Lovers whisper in the shadows. Dogs bark at rats scurrying along walls. Above it all, Vesuvius towers, invisible in the dark, but somehow watchful. You'd never guess that in a few weeks, ash would bury this entire city in silence. Walls, shops, the laughter, the painted gods, all entombed under volcanic stone. But tonight, Pompeii breathes, its people live, and the streets glow gold under the oil lamps as life carries on, utterly unaware that history is waiting, just beneath the surface. So as you drift off tonight, remember the noise, the scents, the color, the crowded streets of a city alive with hope, before the sky turned to stone. Sleep well, time traveler, and I'll see you next time, somewhere in the past.